Hello, madam. Today I'm going to present about mini project OOP. What? And then our team members is me, Prem Venkatesh, Limzi Yang, Munawar Naeem, and Lok Tian Sun. So now let's look into the question. As shown in the diagram, users can choose a category of expense, whether it's food, transport, or other expenses. Each category is represented by a class that inherits from the abstract class expense. The expense class stores common details such as date, amount, while the subclass displays specific expense information. So now let's move on to objective and features. The main objective of this system is to develop a simple and efficient tool that helps the office administrator keep track of daily spending. This system allows user to record the date, amount, and type of expense, ensuring every transaction is properly categorized. Some key features include recording daily expenses with details like date, amount, and category, displaying all expenses categorized by type, and calculating the total amount spent in single section. And finally, giving the user an option to repeat the process or exit. Overall, this expense tracker helps Pixel Panda Enterprise manage its budget and more efficiently keep daily spending under control.
Good morning, everyone. Now I will continue for my part. I'll be presenting about the design of our system and how we use class such as expense, subclass, and food expense in our project. Our system follows the object-oriented programming concept, and it is designed using three main layers. One is one is express class. Number two is subclass that extend expense, and number three is a main class that control the process. This design help make the program modular, reusable, and easy to maintain. Then first, let's look at the expand class, which is an abstract class. This means it cannot be created directly, but it acts as a template for all types of expense. It contains the common attribute like date, amount, and type of expense. It also includes a gather and setter method to access and modify this value, and an abstract method called display info, which will later be used by subclass to show expense detail. By using an abstract class, we make sure all types of expense share the same structure but can display their own information difference. Next, we have subclass that extend the abstract class expense. Each subclass represents a specific category of expense such as transport expense, food expense, and other expense. This subclass inherit the properties and method from expense, but each one implements its own version of the display info method. For example, in the transport expense class, the display show is transport beside the date and amount, while food expense will show food. This demonstrates inheritance and polymorphism in our design, allowing each expense type to behave differently while sharing the same base structure. Now, focusing on food expense class. This class represents all expense related to food. It inherits the attribute date and amount from the expense class. The key feature here is the display info method, which show detail like the date, amount, and labels it clearly as a food expense. For example, when the user enter a food expense, the output might look like this, like the 2025 11, 10, and 50 ringgit 50 cent food. This make it easy for user to identify and calculate their total food expense later.
Hello, my name is Lim Ziyang. Now I want to talk about the other expenses class. This is a special subclass designed to replace any expenses that not fit into our predefined category. It inherits from the parent expenses class, so it can automatically get properties like rate and amount. We don't need to rewrite them. We just reuse them while the super call in the constructor. The part of display info is a method used to display the data of an expenses. So the next is about array list. Why use array list? Because it can to store multi expenses easily. Unlike array, an array list has a dynamic size, so we can group or shrink automatic. Next, we have the try catch block. What is try catch block? This is used to handling error like expansions, so the program does catch. Instead of caching, the program will show an error message and continue running smooth. This makes the system more user-friendly and stability. With the while loop, the while loop is used to keep ask the user to the input until they enter a value answer. So for the example, when the user tap that expenses tab or amounts, the loop repeats until the input is correct. This prevents invalid data from a begin added to the system and make the program more reliable.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Munawar Naim Ahmad Rizwan. I would like to present about expense tracker. Why why we use switch case for? Switch case help you choose between different options in a neat and a good organized way instead of writing any if else statements. This is output from users input. This slide shows the result from the user's input in the Pixel Panda expense tracker. When the user runs the program, there are four options: add expense, display all expenses, display total expenses, or exit. In this example, the user chooses to add an expense. The system asks for the date, expense type, and amount. After entering the details, the program shows a message expense add successfully, which means the data was saved. This process is repeated with different dates and amounts, and the system still works correctly. This shown this shows that the program can take input and record expenses successfully. This is output from display. After adding expenses, the user selects option 2 to display all expenses. The program then shows a list with the date, type, and amount. For example, transport 44.5 cents and food 35 and 4 cents. Next, when the user selects option 3, the program shows the total expenses, which is 79.90 cents. Finally, when the user chooses option 4, this program says, "Thank you for using Expense Tracker," and it ends. This proves that the system can display all records and calculate the total correctly. That's all from us. Thank you for listening and thanks for lending out your time to see our presentation. Thank you.